it's recovery day.
Today we have 6 miles with 5 50-meter sprints afterwards.
Yesterday was a great steady state run, but it was pretty hot, so the kids are pretty tired and dehydrated, and it's a much needed recovery day today. Today is a special day because I get to share this recovery run with my good friend, LT Hyung. He has an amazing story. I can't wait to get into it. You're really gonna like this one. Hey everyone, I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Lawrence Tucker. Thanks for joining us on this run today, Lawrence.
Oh, my pleasure.
Hey LT, can you tell the folks watching a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'll be 56 in November. I'm a physician. Been around Orange County for over 20 years now, practicing medicine. And I got into running marathons back in 2020 after a buddy of mine said, let's train for the LA Marathon. I'm like, okay, sure. Sounds like fun. So that was my first marathon, and since then I've done 3 and preparing for Long Beach in October.
Other than your friend asking you to do this marathon challenge, did you have any other factors that motivated you?
So prior to that, my doctor was like, hey, if you don't lose some of this weight, do something about your diet and exercise. You may need to be on medication for diabetes.
Oh goodness.
And I was like, no way. I have to do something. So doc, what should I do? So change your diet and get some cardio going. I was mainly a weightlifter kind of guy. I did some bodybuilding for a number of years, seriously. And as with any bodybuilder, after you stop doing something like that, semi-professionally, start gaining weight, especially with no cardio. Started doing more cardio, did more bicycle back then because I was so heavy. At my heaviest, I was about 305. And
How much do you weigh now?
so this morning, weighed myself, I'm 208.
Oh, that's almost 100 pounds different.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. I still have to change my driving license. You can't recognize me.
So after your doctor's visit, you became more active, and you also made some changes in your diet?
Yeah. So it was a gradual. First I was just went vegetarian, and then it worked very, very well for me. That with the exercise, of course. So I still maintain a plant-based diet overall, but I'm just not as rigid as a vegan. For some reason, for my genes, it kind of works. Diets are tricky because things work differently for different people.
So what was your finishing time in your first marathon at the LA Marathon in 2020? And what was that experience like?
It was 5:38. It was painful, but I finished. I hooked on to a group of people around 18 to 20 mile. We did a walk run method, which apparently is pretty common. I think I wish I would have done more of that actually, because the walk run method was actually pretty good. Yeah, I got done with it. Cramped up a bit, but it was good.
How did it feel after you finished?
Oh, I was in pain, but it felt great to get that done. You know, everyone was very supportive, so something a lot of people don't get to accomplish.
What a tough first marathon experience. After that difficult of an endeavor, what got you to sign up for your next races?
That's a good question. Because after the first one, I said I would never do one again. And I just got the bug somewhere else. I just started enjoying the way I felt. You know, as the weight came down, I started enjoying the process more. Because believe it or not, that first marathon, I was weighing about 250. So try doing the marathon 5.5 hours, running with 250 pounds. I was still a big guy.
Did you have any time goals for your next marathons after LA?
Well, a couple of goals. One, I would like to finish one without having to walk. And then two, I would nice to be under five hours. And even though I have the top finishing time goal, in general, I always tell people I really just enjoy the process of training. I think that goes back to my weightlifting days, because I really enjoyed working out in general, just keeping a schedule. So just getting out there, looking at my run for today and goals, and just trying to have a good run that day. So yeah, I really do love the process in general.
That's awesome that you appreciate the process like that and get a chance to experience so many more kind of smaller daily achievements. I think that's a great way to be more satisfied and be happier and more content, and kind of connect with yourself a lot better. That's awesome, LT Hyung. Love it.
Sometimes I have to be careful. I find that I beat myself up sometimes. I get a perfectionist. I go, oh, I should have had a better run, or oh, I did bad that run. But I'm trying to get those negative thoughts out. You know, it's tough because those thoughts drive you to perform, but at the same time, if it overwhelms your thoughts, it actually at some point becomes a negative thing. So you have to constantly keep it in check.
Hey, LT Hyung, do you ever hit lows in your training and get a little bit negative, and what do you do to climb out of it?
So I go through these thoughts like, you know, what am I doing? You know, I can't run a marathon, that's way too long. Maybe I should just stick with half marathons. You know, you're getting too old. So, you know, just fight my way out of that and say, hey, you know, enjoy the process. Stop beating yourself up. You know, the good thing with those thoughts and being competitive, it can help you to a certain point, but it also can decrease your performance if you let it get the best of you, or get you injured.
So LT Hyung, what's the next race on the calendar for you?
So I have October Long Beach Marathon.
Sweet. What's your goal for that race?
So it'd be nice to get under 5. I do feel like this training block is going better than other training blocks, just in as far as how I feel and the ease of the runs. As I look back over last year, my progress, so I feel pretty good there.
So LT Hyung, to prepare for marathons, do you just go by feel? Do you have a coach? Do you use a training program? How do you go about it?
So I use an online training program. So kind of a, not really an interactive coach, but just as far as the program and the type of runs.
So what program do you use?
So I use Phil Mosley's program and Training Peaks. It's ramping up, but basically during the week there's two runs. There's a progressive run, and then there's runs with marathon pace efforts, and then the other 4 runs are basically kind of like zone 2 runs, so slow runs, with Sunday being the long run. So average for me, they're time runs. He doesn't do by mileage, so each run is by time. So depending on how fast you are, obviously, and he calculates, you know, where you should be at based off of a fitness test. I've tried different programs, but this one, you know, for a master's program, it works very well. It has like 2 weeks, you ramp up, and then you have a week where you slow the mileage down a little bit, and then you go ramp back up for another 2 weeks. So it gives you kind of a week of, even in that week of recovery, you still do some speed runs and some tempo runs. It just changes in the overall time of training.
I think there are a lot of people who watch who have never run a marathon ever in their lives. What advice would you give to those people to get started, or if they're struggling with their running, or in general, what advice would you give anybody?
Just start. I started off by running a half mile from my house, and I walked home. And I just kept doing that. Then I run out for a mile. I walked home. You know, people don't realize if you run 1 mile and you walk 1 mile, you burn the same amount of calories, no matter how fast you go. You do the same amount of work. So, with that in my mind, I knew I was burning calories, and I knew I was eventually getting aerobic endurance. So I started off with a half mile.
Yeah, work is work, that's for sure. That's a good way of thinking. I love it. So LT Hyung, coming from a pre-diabetic condition and having diabetes a part of your family, as well as there being heart disease in your family, you had to make a pretty tough change in your life, and that came with a really, really difficult decision to make that change. And a lot of people find that really difficult to do. Any advice you have to give to anybody who is not in the best place with their health in their lives, and something that you could, some advice that you could give to them to motivate them to make the big change that you did?
Find some people help motivate you, and then just start someplace. The hardest thing is inertia, to get going. But once I got going, you know, you just keep doing it.
Just a little at a time.
And don't beat yourself up if it's going slow, because the progress is going to happen in huge steps. It's the theory of evolution. It wasn't a gradual process. It was these huge events that occurred that changed. It wasn't a gradual process at all. So same thing with running and endurance. Sometimes my fitness went down. Sometimes they went up. Hard to explain, you just have to keep going. I didn't really see a huge progress. Like, I saw a huge progress again at the beginning of this year. I was stagnant for a while. I kept going. You just gotta keep going. And enjoy the process. Enjoy the process.
Well, making big life changes is one of the most difficult things. And huge respect to you, LT Hyung, for making that big change in your life and improving your diet and improving your activity levels and just being a much healthier and happier person. It's awesome. Love it. Hey LT, I'd like to thank you for spending time with me and sharing your story and giving a chance for our viewers to be inspired by what you've been able to achieve. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
And you can see more inspiring stories about people who made changes in their own lives by clicking on this card here. We've done some interviews with some spectacular people. Hey everybody, so get out there and make small changes. The big ones will happen all of a sudden after you accumulate a lot of the little ones. So keep at it, keep chipping away every day. And then one day you'll look up and you'll be surprised by how much of a big change you've made. I hope you have a great day and a meaningful run. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
When you run alone, like I could tell you right now, I wouldn't even attempt this pace all by myself. But actually, I feel all good.
Yeah.
And we're at 10.
You know, my friend Aya said the same thing.